Hello and welcome everyone back to the Academy Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today we're back with another banger PulseChain video giving you guys the latest and greatest of crypto news, and more specifically we're going to talk about PDAI, catch you guys up to date. What do you need to know? How's the price action looking like, and in other general news from Richard Hart, and kind of moreover talking about yesterday, which was the friction between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. What's the latest update on that? We're going to start with my tweet that I just basically summarizes everything up. You need to know this if you hold over $1,000 in crypto. Bitcoin is cooking under pressure. A lot of people are actually saying, is this a top signal? Are we going to see more retracements? Now, I do like to say that I'm not short-term price oriented. I'm more like a mid to long term. I'm keeping the scope within the whole bull run. But looking at things like the liquidation map, which I think I've covered 2 videos back, we can clearly see that there's 15.35 billion worth of short leverages liquidations that will occur when Bitcoin goes to $117,000, effectively creating that price magnet. This is really, really good. Whereas the price of Bitcoin today, we're going to quickly double check, it's around the 105,000 mark. We're seeing a slight bump today. Ethereum, on the other hand, a little bit stubborn, but still at 2.5k. So that's really, really good to see, considering that we are in a weekend and the fear and greed index right in the middle at 52 neutral. Total crypto market cap is at 3.29. Do remember, this is something that I've showed you guys ages ago, and I've been very consistent with this, guys, since not only 2024, I think even 2023. This is when I created this chart. So it all boils down to this green box. I am betting that it will land anywhere within that, both in the time frame, so the x-axis, or whatever in the y-axis. So as you can see, I put that on the 3.6 Fibonacci level, all the way down to 2.16. Do remember, there can be a plus or minus percentage of, I don't know, 20%. So really minus 20% from there can bring us all the way down to 5.8. I really do doubt so. I've seen some people be even more aspirational and mentioning a 12 trillion total crypto markup. You know what, I'm actually I'd be very happy if that was the case, but I try to keep it an optimistically realistic. Okay, but in terms of the actual time frame, this is around August, so early August of 2025, all the way to kind of end of Q1 in 2026. So that is kind of my time frame. This is where I believe the 2 alt season waves, the 2 tops of Bitcoin will occur. Okay, so again, going back to this other chart that I started the video with, you can see here that I'm clearly showing the Bitcoin versus the global M2, which is basically a subset of the global liquidity index. I put them both on a 75-day delay. Some people try to put that on a 100-day or 115. I like to catch things, like reversals, trend reversals, etc. early. So I keep that as short, which I think on a 75 delay is very nicely correlated, as you guys can see. So speaking about those 2 charts, you can clearly see it's paving the way for Bitcoin, and using kind of the same scale, it does seem like Bitcoin is heading to 140,000, at least in my opinion, at a minimum in 2025. Okay, I think my lowest Bitcoin trajectory as a top for this bull run is 160k Bitcoin. We shall see. Keep that in mind. There can be plus or minus percentages, because in the previous bull run, not everyone was calling for 100k Bitcoin. And guess what happened? The crowd was wrong. Is that even a surprise? This is why always be contrarian, always be greedy when everyone else is fearful. And of course, likewise, if everyone else is greedy, you have to be fearful. That is exactly the euphoric phase. Your voice in the back of your head, the rules that you've been written down way before, so that even when you get emotional, when you are marrying your bags, you need to understand, hey, I need to start taking profits per week. At the end of the day, crypto is a solo sport, ladies and gentlemen, so keep that in mind. But going back to kind of a PulseChain ecosystem, we can see the latest prices of the core ecosystem. INC is up 2.14%. PulseX, around that 1%. In terms of the burn ratio for PulseX, that is currently at 7.19% of the total supply, excluding the origin address. So again, this is very bullish. And the same thing can be said with PHEX. It's the Bitcoin of DeFi. And of course, we're never going to forget about EHEX, the legacy hex, the one that started it all. And I do believe that if we did it once, we can absolutely do it twice. history does repeat itself. If you guys didn't know, that the top of the previous cycle, EHEX was, and it reached the top 3 coin market cap ranking. Now this is the monthly candle. You can see here the super trend is red since then, so I'm very excited to see that when we're gonna flip that again. It's gonna require a 2-cent EHEX price, which is basically where PHEX is right now. So are we going to see a 1-to-1 parity between them two? I don't really think so. I think it's going to always be around that 1-to-4 ratio, which is absolutely fine with me. And from here to all-time high is around a 255x. Do remember, by the way, late 2024 we were as close as a 74x to all-time high. So yeah, so where are we? Back to that local all-time high. Let's quickly calculate that. You can see that's around just a 3.3x. Absolutely crazy. Continuing back to my tweet, I said that you need to ignore. So continuing back to my tweet, I say here, everything else is noise. Yes, this also includes news articles. This also includes politics. The Donald Trump versus Elon Musk that I covered yesterday in detail is all orchestrated. They still follow each other on Twitter. Elon deleted his tweets, including the Epstein stuff. Remember, the news reflect the price, not the other way around. Follow the information, the smart money. The number of Bitcoin whales, which effectively the definition of wallets that are holding above 1,000 plus Bitcoin, is increasing back to April 2024 levels. I'm going to show you guys exactly this in a second. The M2 money supply rapidly increasing on the daily, as I already showed you guys. The quantitative easing is inevitable. Okay, so quickly talking about the Bitcoin basically whale accumulation, you can kind of see here, this is a chart that shows it. You can see that we reached a local all-time low at the February, which was a very rough time for not only crypto but altcoins specifically. Everything was like minus 90%. Pulsechain was at max depression. Everyone's calling each other a scam. We're eating each other alive. Absolutely crazy. But in other great news, we can see that the number of whales accumulating is increasing. This is a really great sign because it shows that we're no longer in that distribution phase, but more likely accumulation phase. And actually, it's not only from the whales that are accumulating, we're also seeing that from the smaller sized players. This is really good. We're seeing conviction. We're seeing the change of sentiments. We're seeing vision for Bitcoin. Do remember, Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation. This is where it all started. You have to believe in Bitcoin before you even look at Pulse, before you even look at Ethereum, understand its mission. Okay, you gotta pay it respect. At the end of the day, it's the sun of this solar ecosystem. It has to stay the number one. It's the digital store of value. Likewise with Ethereum, it's the digital oil. I wanted to quickly showcase this tweet from Richard Hart talking about Amazon went from $113 all the way down to $6. Then it went back up and never looked back down there. PulseChain is better than Bitcoin with more features, more opportunity, better security, lower fees, higher throughput. PulseX is better than Uniswap with real buy and burn, as I already showed you guys the percentage. Hex is amazing too with 5 years of flawless operation. He's talking here about EHEX, by the way. So yeah, EHEX is not dead. A flawless operation. What we have now is far better than it needs to be, and the only thing missing is for people to know about it. So he's basically saying we've built the foundation, we have the highways, we're just missing the users. Metcalfe's law. If you've been in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or lots of cryptocurrencies long enough, you've seen similar price moves and still gone on to see new all-time high prices. Changing the world with computer science, breakthrough level technology takes a little while. Hang in there. And this kind of reminds me of the innovative, disruptive technology, that chart. And that's exactly what I tweeted or replied down here. This is, you can see the chart, how, innovative projects, usually they actually take some time, or even they actually are losing money for the first, phase of it rolling out, and then it goes into that exponential growth. And that's almost exactly what we're seeing with PulseChain. We're in year 2, and of course, within that first years. And quick fun fact, PulseChain launched in the middle of the bear market. So what do you expect? Altcoins are minus 90%. Using the Bitcoin macro summer chart, you can see that Bitcoin goes up 3 out of 4 years. Equivalent, well, not equivalently, but within the same 4-year cycle, altcoins, they only go up 1 out of 4 years, and that is usually 365 days after the Bitcoin halving year, which is basically within that first year is Bitcoin is the spotlight. We need Bitcoin to move first, so then we can see money moves into Ethereum, which is perfectly what we've seen in 2024 with the ETFs being approved, and now potentially even Ethereum staking ETFs. Really great. We covered in the previous video how JP Morgan is now accepting Bitcoin ETFs as collateral type. Guys, this is again going to push adoption to crypto. Do remember that around 6 to 7% of the global population is in crypto, where around 15 to 16% of the global population is in the stock market. So yes, even though if we get max efficiency, it would be around twice the user growth. But remember, with Metcalfe's law, if you twice the user count, you're quadrupling the value because you're squaring that, which effectively means seeing Bitcoin 4x the current price that it is right now. That's $400,000. Same thing with Ethereum. It's at 2,500. That's a $10,000 Ethereum, and I still think that's going to be still very cheap at that point. Assuming that the ETH-BTC ratio doesn't change, which I really do think there's a lot of room for recovery. Do understand we're still not in altcoin season. You can Google the altcoin season index chart. We're still not there yet, so don't expect too much. We're still waiting on Ethereum to do its thing. The more you zoom out, the more you suppress the noise. Delay gratification. PulseChain is leverage of Ethereum, which is leverage of Bitcoin, which is leverage of the S&P 500, which is leverage of global liquidity, effectively the money printer. And a viewer of mine replied by saying, funny, Amazon wasn't in trouble with the SEC or Interpol. A project can be the best thing since sliced bread, but if no one trusts the founder, then it can never shine or be recognized its potential. The man, the living legend himself, Nuclear Herbs, replied by saying this is only a few years after it was founded, talking about that Amazon had a case against the SEC where they had to settle the lawsuit by paying $27.5 million. As you guys can see here, online retailer Amazon.com agreed to pay $27.5 million to settle a securities lawsuit that claimed it misled investors during the internet boom. Very, very interesting. Now, in other news, a tweet here from Brandon says it's PulseChain. We should have known better. Showing the chart of most. This is one of Richard Hart's launched pump tire memes. You can see the chart is absolutely not doing well. Now, number one, I will have to say that yes, PulseChain is not doing the best right now in terms of prices, but you have to zoom out. Ethereum is also not doing the best in terms of prices. It literally retraced all the way back to 2019 bear market levels. Okay, not bull run levels, bear market. So who are we now to judge most without taking into account the macroeconomics? Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm just going to quickly say my opinion on this. This is why I've always told people, by the way, that I can't take pump tire meme coins seriously, even if it's launched by Richard Hart. If it was launched by Richard Hart, it would then also count as a celebrity meme coin, which is exactly what I also dislike, okay, because it requires them to keep watering the plant. It feels artificial, right? The people who are, buying most wanted, they're basically betting that Richard Hart is going to continue talking about it in his, next tweets or maybe even stream, etc. This is why I like to just go with community-backed meme coins. That's the whole point, right? I want to feel related. I want to feel like I'm part of a real community, not some marketing push or not some celebrity where, hey, what happens if Richard Hart is no longer part of the Interpol most wanted list? What's going to happen to most? Is it still going to be the narrative? I really don't know. But I'm just going to say here that I just personally don't take the pump tire meme coin seriously, as Somi calls them. It's effectively just JPEGs, and plus I really do think we're way past that bubble. It's a little bit late to the party when Pump Fund from Solana started. Now moving on to the PDAI chart that I wanted to talk about today. You can see this is the chart is doing actually pretty decently. We're down to 0.0023 when we were at local all-time high of 0.034, a perfectly 10x from all-time high, by the way. And then a viewer of mine asked a question in the Telegram group chat, which, by the way, you should join, whether if you're new to crypto, whether you want to learn more about PulseChain, whether if you have a question, want to be part of a community, want to be part of a conversation, not be left alone during doubtful times. join that group chat before it goes private. And now the question was, how far down do you think the PDAI price will reach during this correction? So what I did was creating a Fibonacci retracement and then labeling the golden zone, which we're going to show you guys what that means in a second. It's effectively anywhere between the 0.5 to 0.6 retracement level. It perfectly bounced within that, okay, because this actually indicates a strong support level. It is very important to sustain that level unless we're gonna fall down to previous levels, because if not, we're gonna fall down to lower lows where I can expect it to go all the way down here where there's not really much previous support. So yeah, right now I really don't see the current PDAI price falling anywhere lower than the 0018 in terms of the midterm. In terms of long term, hey, only God knows what could happen, because right now, even though right now we're doing actually pretty well in terms of price action, doing a nice little 4.7x in basically the last 14 days, considering that the PDAI narrative is actually still very uncertain. We're going to talk about a few updates here and there and a few theories. This is during peak uncertainty. So yes, thankfully there's no minting vulnerability, there's no Vietnamese hack or whatever you call it. This is all purely speculation at this point. This is the same uncertainty levels all the way back to 2023 when I personally started looking into PDAI. Okay, when not a lot of people know about this. But now we have majority of people being against PDAI again, as if we're back in 2023, which feels good. We want this to be the contrarian narrative. If everyone was supportive of PDAI on PulseChain, it doesn't really feel like you have the competitive edge, the information asymmetry. So this is why I feel really good. Understandably, this is a high risk when you compare it to anything else, to the core ecosystem or generally anything else really. But with high risk comes great rewards. You just have to make sure that you allocate your portfolio. Don't just invest in high risk allocations. And of course, proportionally segment your risks so that you're not overexposed either on a chain level risk or an ecosystem level risk. Now, do as I say, not as I do, because 95% of my portfolio is in PulseChain. But you know what? It's been one of the greatest choices that I've ever done, because I already know that this is the best place to be for this altcoin season, baby. Okay, I'm not short-term price oriented. I've already seen what's possible within PulseChain. 2024, the 2 mini altcoin seasons, yeah, we've done literal thousands of X's. Look at PTGC, look at Atropa, look at PDAI, look at Teddy Bear, look at PWBTC. Guess what? This will repeat itself. It's a sine wave. And a quick way to show you guys what I mean by a sine wave, looking at the PWBTC chart clearly shows different phases. We got the motive phase, corrective phase. We go up 30x, go down, correct minus 83%. This is a retracement, okay? This is not a reversal. Don't get that mistaken. And then we do another 34x in such a short amount of time. And guess what? This was when Bitcoin dominance is still at all-time highs. Imagine when that falls all the way down to 50%, when we have even more influx of money, when we're on centralized exchanges, when Richard Hart is streaming, when other celebrities are talking about PulseChain. Guys, come on. Okay, and then we retrace. This is one of the biggest retracements so far. Technically, it was all the way down till, almost minus 99% really, because of the stuff that happened with PDAI and the kind of the LP ratios kind of being changed about. And I think right now, slowly we are correcting the LP ratios, because of other people are ratio trading or arbitrage bots, etc. But it's been consistently doing a 30, 34, 30x, 34x. Are we going to expect another 30x from here? We shall see. Or could it be even more? Because this will actually be the full-on prime time first altcoin season wave that we haven't seen yet since the previous bull run. I'm very excited for the future, ladies and gentlemen. And in other charts, quickly to show, big shout out to X protocol, part of the PTGC ecosystem right now at minus 81 from all-time high. Again, this is clearly labeled as a very cheap token, because you guys know me. I can name you 100 bullish projects. Doesn't mean I'm in all of them. Okay, because the second half of the equation is what? Identifying whether they are cheap and worth enough for me to put an allocation in them. Like, for example, if you ask me, am I holding near enough Bitcoin? No, I rotated most of my Bitcoin in PulseChain back in 2023. Guess what? It's been the best decision I've ever made. And also, guess what? In the beginning of the next bear market, I'm going to buy back that same Bitcoin that I was holding and possibly even 10 times more with the gains that I'm making within this altcoin season. You got to think like a whale until you become a whale, ladies and gentlemen. So going back quickly to that Fibonacci, the gold zone, I just want to show you guys a diagram here that quickly explains it, and it's clear to do with the Fibonacci retracement. And then you can see here the 50% retracement to the 61%. The golden zone is the area between 50% to 61% golden ratio. The golden zone often represents an important support level in which price stops its retracement to the downside and continues its trend to the upside. So again, you can kind of have this as a rule where if the price falls below the golden zone, it has now confirmed that it's no longer a retracement, but a reversal. I hope you guys learned something new today. Give this video a like, literally share it with your other crypto bros who are, whether they're in PulseChain or not, or just want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest of news. And subscribe if you're new. Now, moving on to other latest news and tweets about PDAI from 9 Iron Capital, the man himself. And here he says, there is something very profound about watching PDAI rise despite it having no narrative. And in other news from Decentralized Me, you've got to ask yourself, why did Pi Maker appear just as Maker was shut down? Are we meant to believe that this was just a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences, guys. A complete copy of Maker appears right at the time of shutdown. Its front-end code even switches to PDAI momentarily, then switches back. An astounding coincidence. Why has the founder of PulseChain not mentioned its first native stablecoin, Pi? Why hasn't there been any marketing for Pi by its team? Why were we led to Maker, its mechanics, and the implications of backing PDAI with PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex OA bags? We may be in the quiet now, but you best be sure next comes the storm. PDAI to $1. And here's another tweet from Dai on PulseChain. I really suggest everyone to follow him as well. Sharing a clip from the Atropa, the one and only, you see here, in March 2024 at Zurich meetup. James Osborne III, Maria Rahel, that's his alias, or also known as Hamad Daichi, was asked if Atropa is the Maker DAO of PulseChain. His response, I haven't paid that much attention to Maker. They seem to be legitimate finance. But quickly, before I read the rest of this tweet, might as well let you watch the clip.
I haven't paid that much attention to Maker at all. I don't really know what a...
This was... I just have to say it. I anticipated that
They seem to be like legitimate finance.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
I anticipated
Like Maker and Link
you
are
did
up there.
all of this because you
That's
know
what I was
about,
thinking. I thought
I mean, I
Atropa
see
is
it.
the maker in.
Right,
That's what we all thought. I thought Atropa is the maker of PulseChain. Because I mean, Maker.
Whoa.
No, I just stole it. No, I just stole it.
Maker DAO has got most of the Chinese coins and writing and stuff as well. They've got that sort of contract as well.
Okay.
So when we was looking to it, I thought, okay, this is the new Maker DAO that's helping all the peace stables.
So yeah, his response was basically, I haven't paid that much attention to Maker. They seem to be legitimate finance, not a denial, a strategic distance. Then an attendee said something that may be looked on for years. That's what we all thought. Atropa is the maker of PulseChain. James smiled knowingly and replied, nah, I just stole it. This observation shines crucial light on PDAI's future, highlighting visionary leadership and a decentralized permissionless foundation that could refine stablecoins on PulseChain. If Atropa is to Maker DAO what PulseChain is to Ethereum, then James Osborne III is to Atropa what Rune Christensen was to Maker DAO, only without regulatory capitulation or creeping centralization. Signal, not noise. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, if you guys didn't know who Rune is, he's basically one of the two, I believe, co-founders of DAI from Ethereum that basically launched in 2017. I believe it's also the first stablecoin on Ethereum. And moving on here from another tweet, it says the belief in PDAI isn't casual, it's outsized conviction. No admin key and can't be frozen. Immutable, can't be changed. On PulseChain regulatory clarity. That's not just decentralization, that's allodial grade sovereignty. Woo! And then here, finally, from Dirty Crypto says, PulseChain, why did Richard Hart write an essay about working out? More importantly, why are there so many terms related to PDAI and MakerDAO? And then here it says some of the words: compound, stabilizing, pushing and putting, max gains, stress impetus, swap in/out, systems, numbers go up. Now, I do believe this is a stretch, okay, and did it get nice engagement? You know, I'll give it a like. Good views though. And he goes here: system optimize per time invested. Hold on, I mean, listen, this could be something, but I just love the whole engagement. Honestly, guys, this chain has been the best place to be in during the bear market, during the bull runs. Like, it's just, we're so entertained. The community is so vibrant. We're so active. You know what I mean? We put on the tinfoil hats. We have the best, never been done before narratives. Welcome to PulseChain, bros. Welcome to PulseChain. We love you. And a quick reminder, if you have over $1,000 in your crypto portfolio, you need to know about the crypto operational security, the principles, the different attack vectors within this realm, okay? You better be safe rather than sorry. Complacency is a major risk. So click the link in the description. You can use the code NEW for 50% discount on all my courses. So even if you are absolutely very new to crypto, I do suggest to check out my Learn Crypto, the Ultimate Guide, where it shows the difference between Ethereum, Bitcoin, and it goes a little bit deeper into that on the technical side. You know how, for example, mempools work. What are the ERC20s? Inscriptions to NFTs. The different functions within them, the different types of liquidities. Go check it out. Ethereum 1.0, 2.0, what are the differences? And you don't even have to hear it from me. You can read the comments on my courses, and I'm very happy with all the feedback. This security course is for new and advanced crypto people. Thanks, Khaled, for their time and effort. Excellent course. Big thanks to Khaled for this awesome crypto security course. It was really informative and well put together. I learned a lot. Definitely recommend it to anyone looking to get a solid understanding of crypto security. Fantastic, in-depth, straight to the point, and a good mix of theory and practical. I recommend the course if you're serious about keeping your crypto safe. Cheers, Khaled. Well, guys, thank you to all the viewers, whether if you've ever commented, whether you've ever liked it before. I just want to thank you for just watching it. This is more than enough. I feel blessed. It's a pleasure to be making videos about PulseChain. Really one of my favorite things to do, that I look forward to from a week to week, from a day-to-day basis. I'm continuously learning. I'm a student of life, and I love to share the knowledge. There's enough money in this world for me to not gatekeep any of that information. If you want to learn, I'm here to help. My mission is basically to demystify the world of crypto, demystify the world of PulseChain, and of course, preach the truth. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end it there. Big shout out to the man above. Trust in the process, trust in God, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.